What's going on, guys? Zephyrnix here. Now, I usually go ahead and just do a video, and it's all black. It has three tolling bells, tolling three times. So I guess that would be nine tolling bells. At the same time, I show a picture of him, rest in peace, when he was born, when he died, and then shoot you over the picture, then another picture saying something, to rest his soul. I'm not going to do it today. I'm actually going to go ahead and actually sit down and kind of talk about this particular man right here, Mr. James Avery, 69-year-old actor who died January 1st, 2014. You guys may know him as Philip Banks, who was the father in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or the uncle, depending on how you look at it. He also did the original voice of the Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original 80s version, as well as he was also Colonel James Rose, aka War Machine, in Iron Man. Not the movie, but the cartoon that came out in the 90s. These were basically, I'm sorry, no, I think he was 68 now I think about it. I'm sorry, I meant 68. 68 or 69, I'm not 100% sure. How to put this? Basically, I mean, he was a father. He was basically the television father to a lot of us, I know that sounds weird. Some of you, this day and age, don't know it, don't understand that. Mostly because most of you this day and age don't even have a really good figure to actually, a good standard, if you will. I guess that would be a representation of how this world has become a cesspool of shit, basically, because you don't have anyone to go ahead and kind of look up to, and the people you do look up to are pretty, let's say the blind lead the blind very much in this day and age, where back when I was younger, we had, people out there who set us right to let us know that we, as not just humans, but even us black, as black African Americans, if you will, can go ahead and, to amount to anything, It was because of James Avery that, I was like, well, wow, Philip Banks is actually an attorney, or later on a judge. And it was funny because I lived in a lot of, when I was younger, I had a lot of, naysayers around me, and it wasn't that they were just assholes or nothing like that. But, it was like a lot of times the people around me, they were already held down by the system, and they, saw themselves as held down by the system, and they didn't know how to get out of that. So they considered that. It basically is like they considered themselves held down by the system because they didn't know how to get out the system. You know what I mean? So it's like the system really wasn't holding you down. It's more so your ignorance. But at the same time, it wasn't really that much ignorance, because there was a way to find a way out of that particular system. You just had to find it. And in this day and age, it's a lot easier to find than back then. I get that. But I'm just saying that, it was still available at that time, The information was available. It's just you had to go look for it a lot harder. But anyway, basically, he made me actually go and look up judges or attorneys who were actually African American and find that there's a lot of them, surprisingly. Surprisingly for that amount anyway. But a lot of us did look up to him. And maybe it's irony that, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you had Philip Banks to look up to, and at the same time, of course, Will Smith being the star of that show. When Will Smith actually becomes well, he was an adult back then, but when he became basically a role model for black men everywhere as well. So it's just kind of interesting the way that kind of turns out. He's played in a lot of different movies here. I'm kind of looking at some things he did in terms of television, because he's had a great and long, luxurious career. I mean, really. A lot of it was cameos, such as his Young and the Restless appearance twice as Judge Roy Daly. I actually know that one. Yes, I know that one, Young and the Restless. I don't watch it, but I do know of that particular part. Shut up. Wife and Kids. Apparently he was in Star Trek Enterprise, which I had no idea he was in, even though I'm a big Star Trek fan. Girlfriends, NYPD Blue. Girlfriends, NYPD Blue, and My Wife and Kids is pretty much the end of what I call the black entertainment era. That was basically about 2005 is when black entertainment really started slowing down a lot. I mean, by black entertainment, I mean it was like you were constantly being bombarded with African American comedy shows or comedy sitcoms, and it started off with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It started off with James Avery. And it's really interesting. The guy had a really profound grasp, not only in our lives for those who watch that show, but as well as just kind of black entertainment in general, because it was that show that literally started it all. I mean, I wouldn't say started all, it's kind of like way Mario started the whole platforming thing, but at the same time, it wasn't Super Mario Brothers that was the original platformer. It wasn't. For those who don't know that he wasn't. But, at the same time, they innovated, just Mario and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that show innovated their particular genres and made it almost a standpoint for a very long time. Some last longer than they should, but some don't last as long as they should. I'm talking about don't last as long as they should. I'm talking about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because I would love to have seen a continuation of that, or something of that same exact show, kind of like a here and now kind of thing, like they did with the Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? Just going on, let's go back. He was in Crossing Jordan. I know of this show, but don't know anything about the show. Jamie Foxx show. He actually in the television show of Legend of Tarzan, he played as Chief Kwawasi. Pretty interesting role. Dharma and Greg. This list just goes on and on about the things that he has done, and on television. But to me, it will always be Uncle Phil, and it will always be Oroku Saki, aka the Shredder, the original Shredder, because there was someone else who actually was the Shredder back then. But I'm talking about the original Shredder. That was definitely a good part. In fact, I think someone actually took a spot, if I remember correctly, and I think 89, I think it was, someone actually took a spot as a Shredder, and he came back like a year later, or something of that nature. I forget exactly what it is. But definitely, even younger, and he started his career in the 80s. I know I'm just talking right now, and I am. I really am. I kind of did this video knowing that I was just going to just come out here and talking. Fist of the North Star. He actually played as Fang. I didn't know that. Mostly because I don't know anything about Fist of the North Star. I know a little bit of it, but not enough to say anything. He played the Junkyard Dog, the voice of the Junkyard Dog, in Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, okay. Matter of fact, he probably was in yeah, there it is. I was going to say Karate Commandos, but there's a list of it right here. Because now that I think about it, that voice, he always had that one type of voice that he always did. And yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop right there. I don't know. I'm going to miss him. He definitely, as a black man, he definitely had that influence in my life. But just as an actor, as a man in general, as a trendsetter, if you want to, he basically, shit went downhill for black people later on in the years. Of course it did. Sometimes after like 2010, 2009, shit are going downhill for black people because they seem to want to do stupid shit and put themselves on the internet, showing people think they cute and shit. Hey, I can go on a whole thing about that whole team dark skin and team light skin thing. I have no idea of two things. Number one, no idea why they even bring that up and why they even label themselves like that. Or two, why I looked at my arm when I did that. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure which side of the fence I am on, but I don't give a damn because I would never even go ahead and that makes no sense. But anyway, like I said, he started off and basically almost an empire, to the point where you had a lot of great shows, a lot of great black entertainers who got their chance, who would have never gotten their chance if it wasn't for that one man right there. Okay, I need to say that. I cannot say that no more than, I can't say that enough. If it wasn't for that particular show that he starred in, he was a strong part of how, I think you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to end it right here because I will yank on forever. You guys have a good night. Zeph out.